Well, I got a little bit ahead of you. Or did I get ahead of myself? I'm not sure. Anyway, I was looking at some old photos of what is one of my favorite lakes, Stave Lake, north of Mission, British Columbia. Only probably about 40 or 50. Oh yeah, no, 30 or 40 miles as the crow flies from where I live. Back when I did a lot of boating, we used to go there. What we're looking at here, in the distance is the main lake, the deep lake, the original lake. It's actually a reservoir. It's run by British BC Hydro, our electricity provider. And before it was a dam, there used to be a much smaller lake in the distance, and then we just had a river the main river that drained the lake coming down here. Now this is all part of the lake, and it heads to the south here quite a ways. Anyway, I won't bore you with the details, but it's one of my favorite lakes, especially when you get to the north end. And this is not at the north end, but I still like this area where the one area joins the other. This is now all mud flats. A lot of people go there with their pickups and razors and various types of mudding equipment. You can camp there. You can do all kinds of things there. So I put this in. I thought, oh, I'll play with this. I like the scene. I'm not doing it from a photo. This is just after looking through some photos. It reminded me of this spot, and I think, it's not going to be recorded accurately. That's not what I'm doing. In fact, what I often don't like about having a photo in front of me is, unless I want to paint something very specific about an area, if I have that photo, I'll keep referring to it, and I'll end up worrying about all kinds of things that are on the photo that are not on the painting. Then you start to fixate. And fixating can be one of the artist's worst enemies. It's not always, but for me it is. Certainly for an impressionist it usually is. When you fixate on something, you do this. And when you don't fixate, and you get rid of the things that tend to cause you to fixate, you go, well, I'd rather paint like, because I will tend to double check that I've turned off a light. I will tend to triple check that I've turned down the heat. I will quadruple check whether I lock the door before going to bed. To excess, really, in a way. And it comes through. It's part of my personality. It comes through in my paintings. It can, at least. I try to avoid that, so that hopefully, it doesn't come through. I'd rather the paintings were a little more relaxed looking, a little looser, a little more natural looking, and painterly. You're never going to look at one of my paintings and say, ooh, that looks just like the real thing. No. The feeling you may get from it might be just like the real feeling, but I'm never shooting for an accurate report of what's actually there. So I'm dividing this hillside, because it's the important one, into two planes. Boy, this is a terrible brush. One is, well, two planes, more than two, but for the most part, two major planes. One is this, the top part, which is all going to be in the shade. Our light is coming from the upper left and shining down. It's late in the afternoon. And that's the reason I'm really kind of drawing in this line here to separate the two areas. Let's put a big rock there. In actuality, this specific point of land isn't the way I'm painting it. I am painting it for the sake of the painting. I'm trying to come up with an attractive article. Never mind what's actually there. And that's why I say the photographs are an inspiration. They're not a reference. I mean, for some people they are in certain situations. For me, no thanks. Okay, so that's basically that. I kind of like how this is set up. Let's make that a little stronger then. This muddy stuff going into the water. This brush that I'm using, it's just must have been from some starter kit for a child. I don't know, it just came with, maybe it came from a thrift store. I have no idea. No idea. But, you know, with what I'm using it for right now, it's adequate. Who cares? My lines are not accurate. Don't care. Don't care if they are. They don't have to be. Alright, now let's head off into the distance. Let's get a line for those distant hills. Even though it's only a line indicating where those hills are, I'm probably going to be leaving some lines on. So in the interest of helping to make this appear in the distance, even these lines that I put on here will be a little bit higher value. I've been using ultramarine blue and burnt sienna for all of these lines because it's pretty much, you know, for all intents and purposes, it's black. And I don't know if the camera picks it up very well, but we're switching over to mostly cobalt blue and a little bit of burnt sienna. So we're seeing a little more green there. Yeah, that can extend. This is a closer thing. Yeah, let's pretend that kind of comes down as well. Spreads out. We see that near where lakes meet water very often. You know, we'll see, because there have been landslides. We'll see that spreading out of some scree or some talus. And from a distance, we're not painting scree or talus, we're just painting plausible design. That's all we're doing. Okay, I think that's all right. We'll give the brush a wipe here. Yeah, that's it for now. I'll probably wash in, because I'm not washing in colors, I'm more blocking in values. Maybe on the most basic level I'm going to wash in some colors, but mostly I'm washing in values next. And that's when it'll start to take shape. Sky, I'm not worried about. As usual, the sky is not. It's not solid. It's not. It's ethereal. It's humidity. My strongest area is not going to be the sky in this painting. It's going to be right around here. You know, yes, sort of central starting with, but don't forget this is going to be low value. We're going to come here. This will become stronger. I'm really kind of tempted even to maybe put the odd remnant of old tree because it's a flooded lake, flooded land. You often will see leftover stumps or you know, bits of old tree trunk that's still standing there. We'll have to think about that. Okay, we'll talk to you soon.